Tiger fans, welcome back to the Clemson Sports Show. I'm Joseph Hastings, and I'm joined by not only my co-host Matt Connolly, but also a special guest on today's episode. This guest is the head coach at Jennings High School in Louisiana, has over 200 career wins, and has coached former Tiger Travis Etienne, and now coaches his brother Clemson target Trevor Etienne. Rusty Phelps, how are you doing today, sir?
Doing great. Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on today's show. And I know you're a little bit pressed for time. You got practice later today. So thank you for doing this. And let's just jump right in. We're going to talk a little bit of both about Travis and Trevor's football careers to this point, but I want to kind of get to know them as people. You probably know them, both of them, better than most people do. Who are Travis and Trevor as people?
Okay, well, I think that's where it all starts for both of them. I mean, both of them's family is very supportive of what they're doing, what their goals are. They start their children at early ages. They're a very athletic family. Back when Travis came out, Travis was kind of a mystery. And it was through a connection that I had that was able to get to Mickey. And then Mickey got to Tony with it. So it was a little bit of it was kind of a mystery. I mean, the thing that people don't know about Travis's recruitment, that he wanted to go to Clemson for a long time. I don't know what the connection was, but every day during this recruitment, he would ask me, you talk to Clemson, you talk to Clemson? No. And then when I talked to Tony Elliott, the night of the national championship game, after the game, he said, look, I want to know if your guy's still available. I said, sure. I mean, he's not locked on anybody. And so Coach Elliott came down here and came in here and did a wonderful job with some heavy hitters that had been in the race for a long time. And you just kind of had that feeling after Coach left that this may be it. And then Coach Sweeney came down after they got through with the convention and hit a home run. I mean, with Travis, and you could just tell the connection between him and Coach Elliott and Coach Sweeney. And, both those guys hit it off, and great relationship here at our school with Coach Elliott and Jennings High School and through Travis. And, now we got Coach Spillers, who was here Friday night to watch Trevor play. And, I think he got to see what he wanted to see.
Coach, I'm going to jump in if you don't mind. I was just wondering if you could just compare the two as players. I think that there's some similarities. Maybe Travis is a little faster. Trevor maybe a little further along with his hands at this point. But just wondering if you could kind of talk to me a little bit about both of those guys as players.
Okay. We didn't ask Travis to catch the ball out of the backfield. We didn't have to. I mean, his junior year, he, rushed for almost close to 3,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. So, all right. So when we got Trevor, we said, well, heck, we're going to use him out of the backfield. Trevor has a knack for really, you can see it. He plays baseball. He plays in the outfield. Very seldom ever misreads a ball. So he understands about tracking the ball. Well, so I think if you look at them both at this time, I think they complement each well. I think you hit it. People say Travis is a lot faster, but Trevor uses his hands more. That's hard for me to say because I've never seen them line up and race each other. But I know Trevor's fast. He's been fast for 3 years that we've had him here. He's a lot bigger. He's probably about 221 right now. And if y'all remember correctly, when Travis came in, he was about 185, something like that. So Trevor's a lot more. Trevor has the legs that Travis has, but Trevor has more upper body strength, I think, at this point than Travis ever had. So I think two of them are comparable. I think when you look at them from the waist down, they're kin because they do have those big old tires at below the waist. And both of them had similar carries. They probably, probably average 14, 15, no more than 18 carries a game. So, the wear and tear is not on them. we're not a one-back team, we're a two-back team. And so I think that helped Travis when he got to college. It basically had that same kind of model for him. And so both of them are durable players. We have a couple more running backs that have played with Trevor. So, I mean, it's still eye-popping numbers when you look at it. But, he's off right now. He's off to, I think he has 52 carries and 600 and something yards rushing right now. So, and that's behind a rebuilding of an offensive line.
Now, Coach, I want you to think back with both of these guys, Travis and Trevor. Was there a time in their freshman or sophomore seasons when you realized, wow, these kids are special, they can really do something, on the football player, be special players?
Well, it was interesting. Both of them's freshman year. Travis wanted to stay and play JV in freshman football, and we had to dismiss a 3-year starter at running back who was a senior. So I called him down in my office about maybe in the 9th or 10th game or something like that. I said, hey, man, look, team needs you. Are you ready? Well, yes, sir. I'm ready to go. I think it was just getting into the role of playing. I think that, as far as running the ball, Travis was just taking off with it at that point. I think his first carry here at Jennings High School, he fumbled. And if you know him and he's upset with himself, he never takes his helmet off. So, we told him to calm down. We're going to put you right back in. We put him right back in. And I think the first one he took was about 75, 77 yards off, his second carry. Gets the ball again on the third carry, ends up going about 75 again with it. So kind of saw the glimpses of that. And then he went on to basically carry us to the quarterfinals of the state playoffs that year. Trevor's got off to a little bit rockier start. Trevor was playing defense because we had 2 senior running backs, and we were going to use him to sub in. We put him in the first game. We put him back there to return a punt, and he caught it, headed down the right sideline, and a guy reached and grabbed his ankle, and he broke his ankle. So instead of trying to rush it to come back, he just sat out the year and rehabbed his ankle. But what he's done in the backfield as a sophomore and junior, I think you see a product for Travis also teaching him what he needs to do, how he needs to do it. So I think they both fed off of each other. Even when he was at Clemson, there was a lot of competition between the two. How many touchdowns did you score? Oh, how many yards did you get? So, I think there was a competition. Travis pushes him, and then you turn back around, and Trevor pushes him. So, I mean, seeing these guys working out this summer when Travis was at home, I mean, they're flat getting after it. Both of them's got great work ethic, and there's a competition built in, friendly competition between both of them. But, really wish we could have seen Travis play his first year in the NFL this year.
Yeah, that's I think we all wish that. I hate that for him. Just with Trevor, what's it been like kind of going through the recruiting process with him, and what have you seen from Clemson during that? And I guess what have your interactions been like with Coach Spiller? I think he said he was at the game Friday. Just what's he brought to the table as a recruiter?
Well, I think, they announced he was at our game, and, everybody goes to star watching. I mean, let's think back. I mean, this before Travis, this was the greatest running back in Clemson's history, I do believe, was C.J. Spiller. And so all of a sudden now you got this guy from Jennings that comes up, and, all Coach Spiller could do was just compliment him. I mean, both of them, have a lot in common. Their size, both of them were All-Americans at Clemson, ACC Players of the Year. Coach Spiller went in the first round. Travis went in the first round. So, I think that, I think Trevor being up there so much, I think he was already familiar with Coach Spiller's, and, I'm sure Travis has been talking to Trevor about Coach Spiller. So the family was comfortable around Coach Spiller's.
Absolutely, Coach. And sticking with the, Clemson's pursuit of Trevor right now, obviously they reside in his top 5. And, when people talk about the main reasons why they reside in his finalists is because, his brother went there. There's obviously a lot of connections there. But outside of that, what interests Trevor the most about the Tigers, outside of the connection to the program?
I think a lot of it has to do with his family, his familiarity with Clemson, the coaching staff, the way they use Travis up there as far as still had a lot of tread on his tires. I mean, guys, let's face it. I think when the guy gets healthy and starts in the NFL, he has got probably the less wear and tear of any back that's probably gone in the first round the last few years. So there was a lot of games where he may come back out in the third series and take one series, and he was back on the bench. So, I think that's got a lot to do with it, is them and the family being around Coach Sweeney and Coach Elliott so much. It's funny. Trevor don't talk much about recruiting. You almost have to drag things out of him. For him to, talk about it. So both of them were very similar in those kind of ways. They didn't talk about it much. If you see them, they're just normal people. And Travis is out of way here in town still. I was in a little restaurant, Green's Cafe in town during the summer. Travis walks in, the place is packed. You didn't know he was a first-round draft pick. He was wearing an old T-shirt, a pair of blue jeans, and a ball cap, and that was it. Nobody was stargazing. People understand, their situation here. So, it's basically tight-knitted family, and when they are ready to, talk about recruiting, we'll talk about it. But, other than that, that's kind of the way their family is. They discuss things, and then they run it by us, but I think Clemson's in play because of their brand. You look, Travis was the first player from Louisiana to sign with Clemson in almost, 20 years or something like that, back during, I think it was a guy from A-Meet or something. And then all of a sudden he pops up on the radar. He goes to Clemson. And then the young man from U-High out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, goes to Clemson. So I think they're coming more this way, and it's just that brand that Coach Sweeney and them have built. You look at the kids they successfully recruited out of California, it's like home. Travis always tells me that's one of the reasons why he chose Clemson, was because it felt like home. His town that he came from to Clemson. I think that's got a lot to do with it, because let me tell you, Trevor's a fisherman too now. He's kind of a country boy himself. He likes to fish. He likes to ride four-wheelers. So I think that's one of the, I think they love the small-town atmosphere. And, I think that's an attraction to them also.
Coach, have you talked with Travis at all, or have you heard from Trevor at all, just how he's kind of hanging in there, how his spirits are going? Obviously, the year to go.
Yeah. Talked to him, shot some text messages with him, hadn't bothered him. When it happened, I said, look, man, this is not the first time you've ever faced adversity. You're going to come back better than ever. Just hang in there and take care of your rehab, which, that's how they're built. That's their DNA for football. I think, Trevor, when he's able to get with Travis, they'll go right back to working out and doing whatever and having that type of competition. But he's in good spirits. He's got him a dog now, and, he's in good spirits. I just think he wishes, Travis was the ultimate team guy. He just wishes he could be with his guys practicing and playing. And that's something I think you'll never take out of either one of them is being with their teammates.
Absolutely. And Coach, I want to switch back over to Trevor's recruitment just for a couple more questions. Obviously his finalists are Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Clemson, and the in-state LSU Tigers. I know he hasn't talked too much with recruiting about you, like you said there, but, has he given an indication as to what's the next step, visit-wise, when he may decide?
I think those are the 5 that he will take official visits to. Just like he did this summer, just going around, just kind of like everybody with this pandemic, just visiting different places when it opened up, and they were, so there's not a lot of talk. he's just trying to be the best teammate and football player he can be for Jennings High School right now. I think if he was sitting right here in front of you, and you know, I'll see him every day. Nothing changes. He just says, "Hey, look, I talked to such and such last night. This, or you know, this. I got a text from them or whatever." So, I mean, it's all just kind of right there. You know, I mean, I really don't even know. He came in the other day and told me, "I think I'm going to set my official visits up." I said, "Okay." That was a week ago, and that's the only talk we've had about it. I mean, like I told him today, I was going to be on with you guys. Okay. You know, so, I mean, you know, it's really, I guess he saw it because he was old enough to as an 8th grader and everything. And, you know, does he have his mind made up? No, absolutely not. I think he's going to wait till he takes his official visits, and he and his parents will sit down like Travis did, and then they'll make a decision on where they're going.
Joseph, you got any more you have?
No, the only thing I was just going to ask is about Trevor one more time. Do you think when he goes in as a freshman in college next year, he'll be probably one of the most mature freshmen in all college football, just based on, you know, what you know about him?
I think he's got an opportunity to be, because he's had a great role model in his brother, and both of them take this game serious. You know, there's a lot of similarities, guys, in them. I mean, you know, their work ethic, they're hard-nosed, you know, and so their parents have done a great job with all their children and their support for them. I think he'll have an opportunity to get on the field. I mean, who knows, when Travis went to Clemson, I didn't, you know, people said, I knew he could run the ball, but the things that he stayed and worked on as far as catching the football and his blocking and stuff, that's what made him a first-round draft pick. And I think Trevor points that out to Travis now. You know, here's what you're going to have to do when you get into college. Here's what your day is going to be like. So he understands that. Is he mature enough to get on the field and play? Absolutely. I think that's up to him, how he goes in with his mindset and his work ethic. Absolutely. And I think he can make splash plays on either side of the football. If somebody wants to play him defensively, they can play him defensively. I've compared him to Devin White of the Tampa Buccaneers for 3 years. I mean, he can go in at safety for us, free straight safety, strong safety, rush, defensive end. He's still powerful. So, I mean, I think they're getting just as good a defensive player as they are an offensive player. So, you know, I just think whatever he decides to do, it'll be a family decision, and they're going to feel good about the decision. And when they come back, the mind's going to be made up, and it's going to be done.
Do you think there's any part of him that enjoys defense more than offense, or what does he bring to the table defensively?
He's got so much power, and he closes so fast, and he can tackle. He's a really good tackler, and he don't spend a lot of time at it. And so, I mean, like I said, you can rush him off the edge. He can go inside and play linebacker. He can play a high safety position. He can play a low down safety position. You know, he can cover. You know, I think one of the things he's really good at is special teams. I mean, he's such a threat for us when he's punting that he has the right to pull it down and take off running with it. He understands it. Matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, we go in, we got the ball, we're punting from our 30-yard line. He looks up, everybody's back's turned to him. He takes it 70 to the house. You know, so he understands the game. And, you know, so, I mean, kickoff return, punt return, at this stage of the game, he's farther ahead than Travis was. And I think that goes back to baseball, being able to track the football, being able, you know, track the baseball like that. So he understands the special teams game. You know, for a long time around here, we have not had kicks kicked off to us because of him and his brother. You know, so 2 schools have kicked to him deep this year on the first time, and he's taken it to the house. So that's how explosive he is. He can return punts. I mean, he can throw the football. So he's really a weapon for us at punter and returning kicks, just like he is in the backfield or playing defense.
Coach Phelps, we can't thank you enough for all the insight you
Absolutely,
provided. Thank you so much for your time today. We greatly
Absolutely. Thank y'all. Appreciate you.
You have a great rest of your day and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you so much.